So my name is Adam. I'm working for the Biomarker and Data Insights Group. It's a subunit of the bigger group, Data Science and Analytics. So as you see, so I'm representing today a bunch of people and also, first of all, so we are quite a diverse group with a lot of culture, passion, different backgrounds. So we are a mix of internal and external. So we see that like externals like Christos and Klinstads included here as well, and they're located in Germany. And first of all, I would like to thank the team for all the hard work, especially to Carl, who have with his vision, passion, support, and give us the opportunity here to work in that project. So let's start with our today agenda, I would say. So I call it the why, what, and how. So about the Biomarker and Data Insights machine learning AI pipeline. So I would like to briefly touch the points today. So let's start with the why. So why do we need the MLI pipeline in our organization? So I would like to add the motivation and the added value of MLI in late phase interventional trials. So as always, starting classical approaches are forcing a hypothesis on the data and are limited to detection of strong and low complexity signals using only a small amount of variables, so measure data at one time. Best example, you have a linear model, linear regression, you include your treatment term, some adjustment parameters or variables, certification, and so on, and that's it. And then you're testing a hypothesis and goes on evidence-based statistics. The other way around is like by deriving the best hypothesis given the data. So machine learning is currently the best available methodology to create holistic mathematical models of complex biological systems using all available data and variables. So at least, humans are complex, patients are even more complex at all. So our goal is in that sense to, that ML complements classic approaches to ensure prudent and as thorough as technical possible insight generation. But what we definitely not focus at all is on prediction. So often when machine learning drops in the term, people always think about prediction is all what machine learning can do. But what we definitely want to have is an explainable AI. So we're focusing on understanding the data outcome relation, not the prediction at all. And so that means in the end, we're not searching for the best and complex model to predict an outcome. So we're using models, or we're trying to tune and fit models that are explainable and that can answer questions. The other way around motivation is why we need a MLI pipeline in our organization is definitely these are the buzzwords. So we need standardization, we need reproducibility, and we need a validated framework. And that means, you would like to use the pipeline across many projects. You would like to have reproducible outcomes, consistency, robustness, and trust. And in the end, you would like to have some general principles included based on software validation, like recommended by EMA and FDA. And that is something that we hear nice talks yesterday about. And that is really a big thing. And we going into that we also fulfill validation. In the end, what is the MLI pipeline? So as I mentioned, we provide a standardized, reproducible, and validated MLI pipeline to efficiently compute and report holistic MLI models for clinical endpoints based on all measured data in a clinical trial. And when I'm talking about endpoints in pharma, or especially clinical trials, most important or of interest endpoints are classification, regression, so like continuous endpoints, and time to event, so survival. And the purpose of the pipe or the analysis in the end is to detect highly complex safety and efficiency signals that are normally not identifiable with classical approaches. And to give you some ideas, so what questions we have and what answers we would like to give. So the starting point is always, and that goes into prediction, but also show you something about the data is, and the first question you can ask is how good is the measured data explaining a clinical outcome on an endpoint of interest? So that means how good is your performance in all? So if you trust your model in all and then you see your data, so how good the data can explain your endpoint. So, and if that fits in your needs, so the next question you can then ask is, what are potential drivers or features for the accuracy of an outcome? So what is an important variable for prediction at all? And if you answer that question, the next question is, so we are pharma, we are industry, so our products are treatments in the end. So, and we definitely want to know if there are baseline characteristics that interact with treatment regarding to the effect on the outcome. And to maybe define a better subpopulation and with a better benefit profile or safety profile in the end. And yeah, if you have features or drivers, you find it out, you definitely want to know, and that is something that is a future amount is like the directionality relationship between feature values and the outcome. That means high values goes to a higher probability for an event, and low values to lower probability of an event. Yeah, so that is that. And the nice stuff is like the pipeline is not only built as a tool, so we're really using that in our organization. So we use that in various bias studies. And our goal is always in phase 2 and phase 3, and especially in phase 2, to plan phase 3, is to be close with our MLI top line, close to the study top line results. So blueprint meeting, call it at the Bayer. Yeah. How does it work and how was the pipeline built? So general overview, it's a pipe, so something comes in, something comes out. So how it looks like, so I show you some, I call it core modules. So we call it modules like data preparation, model fitting and tuning and reporting. I will give you some details about that. And our goals have been like have flexible modules that can answer different questions and deal with different endpoints and so on. Yeah, we would like to have this explainable, so that's why we're using modules. We're using also sub-modules, so that means that we can expand it to future needs, or we can also drop things when you don't like them. And in the end, each module can then be validated itself. So, and in the end, it's a bunch of R functions and R&D templates summarized into R packages and summarized into a meta package called BMDI Martini. And to give you some insights how it looks, how model looked like. So an illustration about the model concept. So in the beginning, clinical database, that is always what you have. And then in the clinical trial, you have study data collected in several SIS files, so files that have a special format, and it's called an ADA model or CDISC. As you see here, subject level, medical history, comorbid medication, vital signs, and so on. And in the end, also an outcome. So like here, I pointed out time to event. And that data itself needs to be derived into a machine-readable format. In the tidyverse, they would call it a tidy table or tidy data frame. And that is the first step you definitely need to do. And based on that, to make it usable for the machine learning algorithm, then you used a pre-processing of the data. That means you imputing missing data, you dropping variables that correlate with each other, sparse data, and so on. So a lot of things you can do here. And definitely what you're also doing, you're doing the train and test split. And in the end, you're collecting everything and put it into a model output. And that is easily saying, it is a listed object. So a list object. And yeah, how the pseudo code looks like. So we love the tidyverse idea. So we're staying in that framework. So in the end, you have a pass to ADS. So your clinical data. Then you're giving some ADS specification, what data would like to know, take and filter and so on. And then you build your machine readable format, and then you prepare it for machine learning. Yeah, so that's how it looks like. I mentioned it. Tidyverse is included here. Tidy model, especially the recipe package here to make this pre-processing happen. Yeah, model fitting and tuning is straightforward. It's nothing new here. So you take the prepared machine learning data, then you choosing training data, you select a machine learning model you would like to use. Then you're doing model fitting and tuning, setting audio parameters. In the end, you get a final model. Then you're taking your prepared test data based on the split you have, and then you're doing some performance on the test data, and then everything will be then collected into the model output and again saved in a listed object. So final model, all these settings, all this meta information you need to do the fitting. And here, so I mentioned before, so we used as a package tidy models. And then I really enjoyed that talk from Max because they goes into the sensor package. So we also use here MLS3 to, in the beginning, it was not able to address time to events, the survival. So MLS3, so both packages we use here for tuning and reporting, for tuning and fitting, for fitting and tuning, and for reporting, how it looks like. It's, yeah, again, you're starting with your final model and you prepared machine learning data, but then you need to do this explainable AI. So, and that means that you have some submodels you would like to rerun before you have everything ready to do into reporting. And so we built in some submodules that goes to data summaries. You calculate the variable importance. You calculate partial dependency plots. That is this directionality. I will show you that in a few seconds. You calculate two-way interactions. If you use a random forest, and that is something we really like to use random forest here because it can address a lot of questions. Is you can use a random forest explainer and so on. In the end, you get outputs, and then these outputs can be used as inputs into R&D templates. And the templates are personalized, and they're using conditional childs. So that means that based on that input, automated, then the HTML reports are created. And in the end, you can have then a look on the HTML reports or use the data for Shiny apps. And that is what we're using here. So we're using our Markdown, and we're using for this explainable AI, we're using packages like Delex and IML. That is quite a good way to find deeper insights into that. Yeah, so I'm a little bit running over time. I would like to show you a short demo how it looks like in the end. So what we have definitely is in the end a report. So that means a main report where everything is inside. I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. So yeah. And so in the end, so we have different sections where everything is saved. So we have the pre-processing details. Everything is generated by these modules. And yeah, like you're interested in hyperparameter tuning, you can go in and see, okay, what is happening there. So what models are used. Here's example, the random forest model was used. So survival random forest. And so you have to tune different parameters. Then you can have this optimized hyperparameters information about that if you like. You actually, if you like, you can go into the performance. Here, the performance is not quite good, so it's a demo data, so don't take it too serious. Then we have goes into the model exploration. So definitely where you try to find these drivers, so most important variables, so like top features. So that is something you can do on the tree structure of the tree, if you like. So based on min, middle, depth, or something like that. So as smaller, that's the better. So more important the variable is, or you're going on to classical variable importance based on permutation, where you see, okay, which of the variables is most important for prediction. Yeah. And yeah, you can then, I don't know, compare these both measurements, like see, okay, the first top of these variables are, yeah, like going in the same direction. And in the end, you can also look, if you like, so there is some of these models integrated here, like top 30 interactions. So which variables are interacting with what? And there are a lot of them. So, and then definitely when you see that picture, you're definitely thinking about Shiny. So Shiny is also something what we implemented here. I call it app. It's called Melon. And Melon is a way to solve all this interactive thing, what is hard to solve in static way. So here we try to find a way to visualize the network plot. So at all. So you can use some top features based on a performance measure. At all, you can select some interactions you would filter on, and then you are able to show some kind of interactions in you. See what kinds of dependencies are between these interactions and so on, and have a deeper insight. So when you click on it, like, okay, as bigger the point is more important. As thicker the lines are, as often occurs the interaction in a machine model, or based here is a random forest behind. And yeah, so that is something. The other way around, what I also say is these directionalities, so like these partial dependency profiles. So where you want to know the directionality of a variable. So here, like I can have some kind of idea about, okay, when the value becomes higher, the event probability drops, or if it's lower, it goes high. So, and there is definitely a way I can look into detail of that. So yeah, and then you can also calculate hazard ratios and all this. So it's a way of dealing with that. So, and it's really a nice thing to using that. And yeah, I'm happy for questions and for internet sessions we can do if you're interested in that techniques we did here. So that's all from my side. I would like to thank you, and I'm happy to have questions, etc. So yeah. Okay, let's go to that side.
Thank you, Adam. That was a great talk. Let me check if we have any questions. So we have a question coming in. Question on reconciling generalizability of results. AI ML optimizes for best prediction. How do you separate the things that predict an outcome well versus etiological interpretation for clinical?
Yeah, that is a big deal. So to be honest, so because first you need to trust the model itself. So, but in the end, prediction is especially in classical approaches. So prediction is there, but you need at least a good quality of the model. But then we focus more to say, okay, we compare it with the classical approach, the performances with the machine learning approach, and then we go directly to this Explain AI and try to make kind of discussion with the clinical teams. So it's not easy to answer it all, but that's a way. Yeah.
I think that's the only question that we had. And just remind everyone, if you do have a question, you can post it on our Q&A, or you can also find a speaker on Slack, or also create a session to address any questions or any follow-up discussion that you might have. Thank you so much, Adam, for your presentation.